Good afternoon, folks. Welcome to the 55th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show, or as we put it, where all the really cool stuff happens. And a lot of cool stuff has been happening this week. Before we get into a lineup of really intriguing guests and a lot of interesting news and a wrap-up later on this afternoon between Tom Patton and I, just wanted to let you know that if you haven't downloaded already, there is a live stream app. If you go to the Apple Store, check the live stream app, and of course choose Aero-TV network as the channel that you'd like, and you can look at all of our live work on your iPads and your iPhones and so forth. There's also a mobile site associated for those of you with alternative devices. And once again, like everything else, let us know what you think of what we're doing with this. We're looking for your input, your ideas. Frankly, we steal from the best, and we've been stealing a lot. So overall, keep the input coming, because in the long run, what we do is what you tell us you need us to do. Now, let's get down to the really good stuff. We've had an amazing couple of days here. We've often explained that avionics has set the trend for all of aviation in terms of innovation. There's been just absolutely no question that among all the intricate aspects of aviation, no aspect has been as innovative as avionics. And boy, what would happen if all of a sudden the power plant community and the airframe community, and God help us, the regulatory community, could be as innovative as the avionics industry has been. Well, let's talk to the person who's pretty much in charge of every trend and every idea that's going forth in avionics as the head of the Aircraft Electronics Association, Paula Derks. Paula, welcome to Aero-TV.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Number one, thank you, Aero-News Network, for being here and giving us such great coverage of this convention and trade show.
Well, it's either that or get a real job, and that's just not going to happen. Paula, you started something yesterday morning that's just got a lot of people buzzing, and not just in avionics. I'm looking at the chat rooms and the boards. You basically, I mean, you couldn't have done it better if you'd come out with a baseball bat and started swinging about taking back our industry, taking back what we know this industry can do. Can you address that and just tell us just where did this come from, and more important, why isn't the rest of the industry doing it right now?
You know, it's a great question, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to tell you where our tagline for this year's convention came from. Our theme is take pride, take ownership, and take back our industry. And truly where it came from is about a year ago, as the AEA staff sat around one of our conference room tables brainstorming and pre-planning the convention this week in Washington. We talked about what is our theme, what are we trying to tell our members, how can we inspire them to take control and take back our industry. And it basically came from, let's face it, for the last 3 years, the business aviation industry has not been in the best light with the general media and unfortunately with our administration here in Washington, D.C. We, time and time again, it seems like we have to make excuses for the industry that we work in, and that we go to work every day and take pride in the products that we develop and are flying to enhance safety in aviation. So part of the theme of taking pride, take ownership, and take back our industry is basically stop apologizing for what we do and who we are, and it's up to us at this point in time to continue to develop the research and put the development dollars into these exciting new products. And I hope the rest of the entire general aviation industry will catch on. I hope they will echo that theme. I asked our members in the audience yesterday morning to focus on the theme, not just this week in Washington, D.C., but for the rest of this year, to take pride in the products they produce and the products that they install in airplanes, and let's take back our industry. It's time.
Well, one of the things that was interesting this afternoon, our news editor, Tom Patton, and I were walking up and down the aisles and figuring out all the ways we could spend money we don't have, and boy, could we spend it here.
To do.
We were noticing that there was a tremendous retrofit market, and behind the scenes of that concept was the fact that these are people who already own their airplanes, who already understand their airplanes, already understand what tools that they are. And notice they're investing more in their airplanes. Okay, you scratch your head a little bit. The people who know these things and are doing business with these things are finding ways to do more with it. Okay, that means to me that they have the value, they've proven the value, and looking to get more value out of that, communicating that to the rest of the, well, we've been preaching to the choir. We know how good this is.
Yes.
We're obviously, and people are spending money to prove it to themselves. But communicating that aspect, not just to the public, but to the folks who, a couple of members of Congress would be nice, that seems to be the pivotal jumping off point we need to get across to start reselling aviation to people who don't understand how desperately they need this kind of capability.
Right. I think we've always been guilty of, as you said, singing to the choir. And it's time to open the choir box and step outside.
We need Linda Adams for that, don't you?
We need Linda Adams, yes, to give us another heartfelt rendition of the national anthem. But no, it is time. It's time for us to speak beyond our own industry, if you will. We're so fortunate that we have a congressman in the House, such as Congressman Sam Graves, who was here this morning to give us an update on what's going on up on the Hill, and that he is the co-chair of the House General Aviation Caucus, which is a group of congressmen, and then on the Senate side, a group of senators who believe in our message and believe in the economic benefit of the general aviation community. So that is one step, I think, that we're doing in the right direction that helps spread our message beyond our own, if you will, and out into the general population of the value of business aviation as a smart business tool for companies, but also think of the search and rescue and the medical missions and the goodwill missions that our industry does. You hate to turn a tragedy into a positive, but unfortunately there's been a lot of tragedies throughout the world in the last couple of years with tornadoes and Mother Nature and type of instances that have proven the value of GA. We've been the first to step up there and bring in needed supplies and evacuate injured people, and it's those type of positive messages that we cannot stop spreading enough so that people do understand the true value of what we do.
It was one of the things I noted. I did a little bit of flying during the post-Katrina scenario. I was flying an R-44 out there, actually in support of some law enforcement exercises, getting cops to places where you couldn't get a car or vehicle out, or for that matter, bringing out water and food and fuel and things of that nature. But what was interesting is every time you stop back at the airport, all these GA and light biz av airplanes that were there to support, and there was just no way that this was going to be done on the scale that was necessary, because FEMA needed time to mobilize this and that and a portion of this. But GA, boy, people hopped in their airplanes and went and got it done.
And did so, unselfishly and on their own dime.
Right.
That speaks to the passion of our industry as well.
The heart of aviation.
The heart of aviation. And I think you will find that no matter what trade show or what event you are at throughout the year, you find the passionate aviator and the suppliers to the industry that truly believe in that as well.
We talked about innovation. One of the things that ANN has been really big on this year and just beating people to death over is the fact that we have to take a break or actually make a break with what was, because times have changed, the world has changed, society has changed, our needs have changed, and aviation hasn't changed a whole lot. As a result, we're in a downturn, we're declining, and that's normal when things like that change. But now it's a time to take back our industry, and one of the ways that has to take place is to use the concept of transformational change. In other words, taking the technologies, taking the attitudes, taking the modalities that are necessary to recreate the industry. Now, no industry is poised to take advantage of transformational concepts in aviation. And I'm going to really put you on the spot here. This is a really tough question. We see amazing things in avionics. Every time I step into a new airplane, it's going, man, I just did not know it could do that.
Right.
And every time I turn around, it's a new iPad, it's a new this, it's a new menuing, it's incredible capabilities, more weather, just phenomenal. Okay, those attitudes, those modalities and methodologies that we see in avionics, how do we teach that, or what can we give to the rest of aviation to give them the jump start they need to meet the progress that avionics is making right now?
Well, I think in some ways, you are putting me on the spot with that, by the way. But I do think
Rick Perry put me up to it.
Okay.
There you go.
There are ways that I am seeing that obviously the new airframes and the new materials they're using to build not only the turbine-powered jets, but on down to experimental aircraft and gliders and so forth. There's new technologies being developed for the structure of those aircraft as well. They're probably just not quite as sexy and fancy as avionics, and people have more of a an opportunity to see and feel and touch and smell the avionics panel, if you will, than they do actually seeing and touching and feeling an airframe or an engine. The engine's hidden away. So yeah, I don't think it's that these technologies are not being built and research and creative minds are going for this. I think it's just we're a little more accessible, and again, I started to say the shiny knobs, but there's not many knobs left anymore in the world of avionics. So that could be some of it. I think to maybe change that subject a little bit and get me off the hot seat so I don't offend any of my fellow aviation enthusiasts is I think one of the constraints that no matter whether you're an avionics manufacturer, an airframe manufacturer, or a power plant manufacturer, is we're being a little bit hindered by getting these products out to the market. And I'm talking through regulatory constraints, getting new products certified in a timely fashion, getting, once the pilot parts with his wallet and says, retrofit my panel, I want the latest and greatest avionics technology, it can take an extremely long time, a frustrating amount of time to get those products installed and approved by the regulators. And that's a big issue for our industry, because it's not that we are not taking the risks to develop and build these products and sell them to market and create jobs, but we're hindered by regulatory challenges of not being able to get them certified quickly enough and not being able to get them installed and approved.
Well, this has been a constant theme of some of the conversations that we've had. We were talking to the folks at Universal Avionics who are certifying synthetic vision for Part 25 and thereabouts in military, and the issues that they're dealing with in regards to regulatory, where the regulations haven't kept up with the technologies that they can bring to force.
Right.
And then, of course, we listened to the FAA panel this morning, and there's an undercurrent of, well, we don't have enough money, so we can't do as much as we'd like to do, so call Congress. And yet you would think in an industry that's been as self-reliant and as innovative as avionics, there's got to be a way for them to cooperate and bridge the gap. The expertise is here to be able to do the lion's share of the work that they need to do, so that in the long run it would be nothing but an evaluation process. So I'm assuming that we need a bit of a culture shift at the FAA to be able to break the regulatory logjam.
Right. I think to be fair to the FAA, I think they can't be all things to all people any longer.
No.
Because of the budget constraints and because of their workforce constraints. So we would just suggest for them to use what they have utilized designated engineering representatives for, DERs, ODAs. Let them do their job. Let them be able to do the approvals, do the certification work, the engineering work, that they have been given the authority to do so. Loosen the reins on the oversight a little bit of these men and women that are doing these jobs, so that the FAA can focus on more pressing matters. That's our answer to some of that. You can only be given, and especially in today's economy and today's economic challenges of industry, you can only be given so much budget dollars. And the FAA has been given a set budget now with the recent re-auth bill passing. Make do with what you've been given, run the business, run a tight ship, and get your, manage what you do have and try to manage it effectively. Use your ODA structure in this instance and let them do the job they've been authorized to do.
Which means that you got a big job, don't you?
There's a lot of challenges, not only now but ahead.
Boy, talk, for somebody who's avoided honest work all his life, I can't just imagine just the things that you're having to tackle at this point. Okay, so as the head of AEA, for somebody who sets the agenda for the industry, what are your main targets for the rest of 2012 and beyond? What's on your want list, your wish list for this industry?
Speaking probably to the regulatory challenges, AEA and our board of directors have basically forecasted a plan to build better relationships with the various directorates in the FAA. I'm talking small airplane directorate, the rotorcraft directorate, transport, and Washington itself, to, set together. We did this in February at our international headquarters outside of Kansas City, Missouri, with the Rotorcraft Directorate. We brought in the rotorcraft manufacturers. We brought in avionics manufacturers who are now making amazing technologies for the rotorcraft market, and we brought in the MROs, the repair stations that are doing these installations. For 2.5 days, we sat with the Rotorcraft Directorate and industry and had really concrete discussions about our challenges and their challenges. So probably on my wish list for the rest of this year is to continue building those type of conversations and those relationships, and helping each other as much as we can doing that.
Well, I've heard nothing but raves about the Rotorcraft meeting in particular.
It was very good.
The helicopter committee, as a helicopter pilot and somebody operates rotorcraft on a regular basis, this is an industry that is actually on the upswing, has got a fair amount of business despite the economy, knows that it's on the bubble right now to really perform. And one of the things that's really allowed the rotorcraft community to make progress has been the additional capabilities lent them through avionics technology.
Right.
So I'm sure you've had their undivided attention.
Yes, it has been great, and the industry is appreciative and thankful that we're taking a strong role in developing that relationship and hopefully working out solutions. We had companies there, avionics manufacturers, that are developing, again, rotorcraft-specific avionics that are built to enhance safety, that are waiting and have invested millions of dollars while they sit idly by waiting for their certified products to take place. And in today's economy, anytime you can create new technologies and new jobs to further our economy and give back, it's a shame that we're delayed by regulatory burdens.
I want to segue a little bit to something that I see here on the floor. I mean, we've been walking around for the last few days, and mind you, we know these people, so there's a certain amount of familiarity and trust, so they're willing to talk to us about what works and what doesn't work. So when we feel and can conclude that there has been a significant and very positive attitude in the people here about their future, it's the real deal. It's not talk to the media, make it look good, thumbs up, everything's going to be fine, while crying silently in the background. These people really believe that, one, they're doing something important, and two, that the industry is in the process of transitioning and transforming itself.
Great.
Where does this come from, and more important, what do you tell these people about the future? They're looking to AEA for a certain amount of guidance, so I mean, here's the opportunity to give them the pep talk.
Well, my pep talk, a great way to maybe close out this interview, my pep talk goes back to that convention theme is, at this point in time, it's up to all of us to make it or break it. And I believe we're going to make it. There's a very positive vibe this week, on not only on the trade show floor, but in all the meetings and the social events, that people are seeing the corner turned ever so slightly, but at least it's turning in the right direction. And again, my pep talk is this: stop apologizing for what we do, stop making excuses. Don't depend on our governments, no matter what country you reside in. Don't depend on them to give us direction and guide us. Don't let that influence you. Do what we've done in aviation since the days of Orville and Wilbur. Have the stamina and the inspiration and the innovation and the innovative spirit to move forward.
Outstanding. Well, on that note, we're going to conclude just what's been a very good opening session here for Aero-TV on Thursday, and our final live cast from the floor of the 55th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show. Before I go, I got to tell you one thing in particular. We've hit you with the hard questions, but let's give you the kudos you deserve. We work with a lot of folks. We go to Oshkosh, we go to NBAA, we go to AOPA, we travel the world, working with organizations and clubs and so forth, and we've never encountered a group that works as hard, is as easy to work with, and accomplishes as much as you and your staff. And there's a model there that I'd love to see people copy, because they should be looking at you and copying everything you do, and we appreciate it.
That is so nice of you. Thank you very much. We've got a great team here.
Oh, they're amazing.
Thank you for recognizing that.
Oh, no, they're great folks, and they put up with us, which basically means that they're used to enduring all kinds of obstacles. So.
It is our pleasure. Our pleasure. Thank you, Jim.
Well, we really appreciate everything. Alrighty, folks, we're going to take a break here for a few seconds for our crass commercial messages and the like. We'll be back in the near future we've got Tim Taylor from Free Flight. We're going to be talking to Todd Winter from Mid-Continent. We've got Rick Perry from AEA. We've got a number of folks on standby here ready to tell you what's happening in the avionics industry right here and right now. So from the floor of the 55th Annual AEA Convention and Trade Show, this is Aero-TV. We'll see you back here in a few minutes.
Aero-TV's live coverage of the 55th Annual AEA International Convention and Trade Show is brought to you in part by the following sponsors.